Hey, welcome to this video where I'm going to take you through every plugin that I think is essential to have for electronic music production. A customer of mine requested this. He says, hey, it's Black Friday. I'd love to know more about the stuff that you use. So I'm going to take you through all this. Thank you, Cees or Cees. I'm not quite sure how you say your name for this suggestion because it's a good idea. I've actually put together a little list on my Thomann affiliate link page. So if you want to support the channel and my work, this is a great place to do it. Let's dive right in. So FabFilter Pro Q3 and L2, I think, yeah, kind of bread and butter things that you need. A high quality EQ with a lot of different settings. It has tilt EQ, dynamic EQ, is super amazing. The Pro L2 is so useful on so many levels, not only for loudness, but also because of the way that it shows you what's happening with your signal. Can totally recommend both of these. And then the Black Hole from Eventide, which is just an amazing big reverb for synthesizer-driven music. Very, very cool. I use it on every project. There is also the immersive one, which is a little bit better. Eventide was kind enough to send it to me for a video that I'm preparing, where I'm going to be comparing the two plugins against the hardware, the DSP 4000. And yes, I can let you know already that, of course, the newer version of the plugin sounds a little bit better, but if you're on a budget, I think that the normal Black Hole plugin version will get you like 95% of the way there. So really good recommendation. The Ultra Reverb, amazing. It's ambient settings for snares and hi-hats. If you struggle to put reverb on snares and hi-hats and stuff, this is the solution. Yeah, and then Console One. This is on every track of my live set. So if I go in here for a second and show you some of my tracks, you'll find Console One everywhere because I use its high cuts to sort of shape my music as I'm going along. A lot of stuff is mapped here to my controller. So the Console One, I can absolutely recommend. I don't even always have it connected. I just use the plugin all over the place because I love that it combines everything in one interface, which is kind of like, again, 95% of the stuff you need to do to a signal will be there. And I think the Pro Q3, it's a little bit more in detail. You can do more steep stuff. You can go a bit deeper, but if you have to choose between one of these, I would actually prefer to recommend you the Console One with some additional plugins. First off, I think that the Gambit series from Softube is, for the quality of the EQing, is insane. I would add that because it's also low latency and it's a lot more affordable, less expensive than getting the full Vice collection on the Softube site. And the American Class A, I mostly use its side-chained compression capabilities because somehow the side-chained compression on here sounds really good for electronic music. So something I can let you know is I'm going to make my whole live template available. So really what I use to play, where all of this stuff is being used and set up, I'm going to make that available in the new year. So you can just load that if you want. And yeah, the Class A is loaded everywhere. And it's a big part of what I find is a really good groove. So these are the plugins that I would recommend from the Softube ecosystem, but there's one missing still, which is the Empirical Labs complete collection, which actually includes that also the tracking one that you can put into Console One that I don't use that much, but the eComp and the Little Freak are amazing. They have so much vibe. I've done a whole video on this on my channel. Super somehow underappreciated because I don't see people ranting and raving about them, but for compression and EQing that has to have vibe and character, these things are crazy. And actually, I can show you also, they live on the master bus of my live set, and they just add a really nice amount of like lift and vibe and mojo, and I'm just compressing like 1 dB, 2 dB. When I use it, but yeah, like I'll do a proper video showing you how good these things sound at some point. I don't want to make this too long, but I can totally recommend these plugins. And then the other one you see here is the Clariphonic EQ from Kush, which does something really magical where you can lift stuff up front and make it more clear without it sounding super EQ'd. And I only use very little. I wouldn't recommend you to go massively beyond sort of the, 9 o'clock point, because then it starts to get a bit abrasive. So that is over on the Kush site. Right now it's 99 bucks. I know it's kind of expensive, but it's unique in what it does. I don't have any other plugin that can do what it does. And I also have that on my main output. So if you end up going for the template that I'm going to do of my whole live set, then yeah, you'll be able to see all this stuff. Okay, going back to my list of stuff here. Where is it? We need to go over here to this Thomann side. Yes. Okay, Waves Horizon. Yes, I know Waves is kind of like very dodgy terrain, and you know, I mean, it seems like they've kind of got the message now. Hopefully, they'll remember for a year or two. You know, but having said that, these guys are, you know, whatever's happened to the company now, but these guys have always been pioneers in the plugin space, and the Waves Horizon bundle is really good value for money. It could be argued that you could probably actually achieve most of the stuff that all these other plugins do just using this. Let me just show you quickly which are the ones that I think are really good to have, or the ones that I use from there all the time, and why I think this is worth it. I mean, yeah, the CLA stuff is pretty cool, but I don't use it all the time. Let me just take you to the stuff that I think is really quite unique and very useful to have. So the signal generator, I use it all the time when I'm running outboard to make sure that everything's balanced and the frequency spectrum, etc., is coming through okay. The hybrid compressor and the hybrid delay are really nice. If you switch off the analog noise, they're really clean, really good. Both of them I use a lot. The L2, sort of the maximizers, the limiters, they have a low latency version, which I actually also use on my live set a lot, because everything has to be low latency if you're bringing stuff in and out with faders. You can't have a limiter with massive latency on it. So this is what I use to play live usually, the L2 low latency. That's my main limiter on the output then. What else do we have here that I use a lot? The one knob filter, when I just quickly need a high cut, I use that quite a bit. The Pultec EQs are really good for an emulation of Pultec that is low latency, because I mean, I love the UAD stuff, and I know now they're running also on your computer, but their whole DSP stuff puts way too much latency into my set, so I don't use them much. The Renaissance compressor is really good, really nice to make plucky, stabby stuff. I use that quite a bit. The Renaissance Vox, really like a very easy thing to use to get your voice to just kind of be level. What else do we have here? The Super Tap delay I use a ton. It's one of these very clean delays that you can design repeats with very precisely. Really, really cool. So I guess, I mean, you get kind of the picture. I use a lot of this stuff very regularly. The loudness meter is super useful. The VU meter is super useful. So considering the utility you get, you know, in one bundle, I think yes, it's worth it, and I'm actually I'm happy to have it. Okay, so we've covered most of the stuff already here. Something that is quite unique is Shaperbox 3. I use this a lot also because you can do side chaining of your bass with only cutting the low frequencies on it instead of the whole bass line, which is super amazing. If you want to have a bass line playing somewhere close to your kick or on your kick, you can do it with this. So kind of a one-trick pony for me. I mean, it can do a ton, but that's all I use it for, and in my opinion, it's better than LFO Tool or all these other things that don't do frequency-dependent side chaining. So can totally recommend this. I use this a lot also in production. And then finally, I want to give an honorable mention to Valhalla Delay, even though it's not on Black Friday sale, but this also gets used a lot in my productions for delays. It's super amazing. So those are my three main delays. It's the Waves that I showed you, the Valhalla Delay, and the Super Tap. They get used all over the place. Sometimes I use a little bit of the Ableton one also. So those are my suggestions. Those are the things that I would really recommend. And actually, there's a whole bunch of other stuff on this list also. If you want to have a look at the stuff I have in my studio and I use all the time, I've kind of done these in order of importance. So I think, like, you know, your basic controllers, sequencers, and a tight clock is kind of, you know, very, very important. So as you can see, this kind of, you know, starts with the basics and then gets more and more complex. If you're going to get a Quantum, I recommend getting this one because it has Thunderbolt. The new ones don't. And a quick note on the prisms, they don't make the Orpheus anymore, but and these are super, super expensive. So these are the best converters I've ever heard. And I use the Prism Orpheus, which are Firewire converters. And you can pick these up on Reverb ridiculously cheap from time to time. And you can connect these as an ADAT interface to the Quantum. You can actually run two of them, and you can run these things with, so the Orpheus with super low latency, and have the same sound of conversion for, like, you can get these for about 1,000 each. So I run two of them, so $1,000. So yes, I know it's like, you know, pretty heavy money, but for $1,500, you basically have the best conversion you can get with a, sorry to say this, Prism, way better driver than Prism does. I can go in and out of my DAW at like 5 milliseconds latency round trip with this running a heavy project. So yeah, that's it. That is my list of all the Black Friday stuff that I can really recommend for you to check out. I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff like Loop Cloud or Access Analog that I think is very interesting, but these are the basic tools that I think, yeah, will make a big difference to your productions, and that I can really recommend checking out. Okay, I hope this has been useful, and yeah, I hope that yeah, that you get the stuff that you need on Black Friday and nothing more, because yeah, like having too many plugins and all that stuff, it's a bit insane. So I you know, I hope that we don't all go totally overboard, but there are some tools that over my work, over the years that I've been making music, have really proven to be incredibly useful. And I would actually have no qualms about wiping all my plugins and just keeping this, and I would be totally happy. Like I wouldn't miss anything other that I have, even though there's many other cool tools. But yeah, like this is the core. This is the essence of the stuff that I think is really important. Okay, I hope that this has been interesting, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy. Bye-bye.